All right, we are back today with the final installment of the Essential Workers of Your Kitchen series. We've already covered knives, cutting boards, small appliances, and now we're on to miscellaneous. And I have a huge list of things for you guys today, so I'm gonna go fast, and I will put this up on my blog along with links so that you can see if you wanna buy any of these items. So let's get started. I get a lot of questions about my cutting boards because you can see them in a lot of my Instagram posts. These are the Epicurean brand. It's a paper composite material, super durable, less toxic than like a plastic. I've had these for 9 years. I have 2 of the big size, 1 of the small. I get endless use out of them, and they're beautiful too. So sometimes I'll even serve like a cheese platter just right on the cutting board because they're really pretty. One trick of the trade, this is carpet liner. I put this under the cutting boards so they don't slide on the surface on the counter when I'm cutting, and that way I can avoid having to buy cutting boards with like rubber or anything. These are just so much more beautiful, and this is dirt cheap. So that's my cutting boards. Another thing I get a lot of questions about on Instagram is my baking sheets. So this is a stainless steel baking sheet, not aluminum, not non-stick. It's a nice non-toxic stainless steel baking sheet, heavy duty. I cook directly on this, which is why it looks kind of dirty. It's stained, it's not dirty. It's pretty easy to clean actually. And then you don't feel like you have to use foil, which can be toxic with the aluminum. So definitely go for the stainless steel heavy duty baking sheets. I also have a stainless steel rack. That could be also like a cookie cooling rack, but I use it a lot in my baking sheet in case I want to cook something with airflow below the food. So it's nice to have. This didn't come with the baking sheet, it just happens to fit inside my baking sheet. Another baking thing is a pizza stone. Now, we don't make a ton of homemade pizza, but when we do, we use this. What we do a lot is reheat our delivery pizza on this. It's so great. You put the stone in the oven when it's cold. You heat the oven and the stone up together to really hot, like 450, 500. And then you throw your cold pizza on here and it cooks it so, so well. It's also great if you're getting into bread baking. So a pizza stone is a must-have. All right, this is actually an ice cube tray. It's a silicone ice cube tray that I used for making baby food and freezing baby food for my kids. And I also use it for things like pesto or sauces that I want to save in small amounts, chipotles and adobo, tomato paste, that sort of thing. Great to have. I'm actually for Christmas hoping to get a one-cut version of this so I can save things like soups and chicken stock and things like that. So really nice, very easy to pop things out of. I definitely recommend a silicone ice cube tray. All right, let's talk Pyrex. I'm kind of a Pyrex addict. I love it because it's oven safe, it's microwave safe. You can pour hot things into Pyrex. So I've got Pyrex stuff up the wazoo. This is my most used baking dish, hands down, no question, in my entire house. I use it for everything. I also have the 8x8 size, but it was in use right now in my fridge, so I'll just show you the big guy. I love that Pyrex stuff usually comes with lids. Great for storing stuff in your fridge or bringing it to a friend's house. So I love, love, love my Pyrex baking dishes. I also use these little Pyrex ramekins. I have like 6 of them. They're just great for prepping meals, making sauces that you need to store. They also come with lids. So it's such a great way to store something in the fridge. They give you part of what you take to lunch. It's just a great size. And the fact that it's microwavable and heat proof is awesome. This is like the #1 tool that you don't know you need, and you do, ramekins. So if you don't have a set of ideally microwave safe, heat proof ramekins, like these Pyrex ones, you will get so much use out of them once you have them. I don't think a day goes by where we don't use a ramekin, whether it's because we're prepping a meal and we want some of the ingredients to be chopped and waiting for us and ready to go, or if we're gonna put like soy sauce in them when we have sushi, or if we want to, we eat ice cream out of these because they're small and they make it feel like we're having a lot of ice cream. But just, you'd be shocked at the uses you'll have if you buy a set of ramekins. Let's talk mixing bowls. So I have a set of Pyrex mixing bowls, which again is great because they are heat proof and they come with lids. So love my Pyrex mixing bowls. They are heavy though. And so I usually only use these if I'm doing something that's gonna maybe be hot or have to be microwaved or something like that. I get a lot more use out of my stainless steel mixing bowls. And I have the whole set of sizes. I actually have 2 of the big guy. I love these because they have rubberized bottoms, so they don't slide around on the counter when I'm whisking or stirring. Non-toxic. I try not to use a lot of plastic in my kitchen, so this is a really good alternative to a plastic bowl that's just easy to use. I get a ton of use out of those. Let's talk strainers. So I would recommend a big size and a small size of a metal strainer. This is great for like a can of beans or something small, but sometimes you need to do pasta or potatoes and you need the big guy. And then you also are gonna wanna have a mesh strainer. So this is a really fine mesh strainer. Not much fits through here except for liquid. So we use this a lot for things like straining coffee or straining like a jam or something like that. So you definitely wanna have a mesh strainer as well. All right, cooking tools. So, a grater. I like a box grater. It has every possible size of hole that you might need. I like that this one's rubberized on the bottom so it doesn't slip when I'm grating. You gotta have a box grater. Similar but different is the microplane. A microplane is a super fine grater, mainly used for things like taking the zest off of lemons and limes, but it's also great for stuff like Parmesan cheese, or if you want to grate ginger or horseradish, something like that. So I find endless uses for this. It doesn't take up much space. You gotta have one. A mallet. So a mallet is great for tenderizing meat on the bumpy side, but also if you just want to pound meat to make it flat or crush something, like if you're crushing chips or cereal or something to be the topping on a recipe. Great for getting out aggression, just hitting stuff sometimes. But yeah, so definitely you need a mallet, and I like the two-sided flat bumpy option. Kind of random, just a funnel. You don't think of this as a kitchen tool, but actually we find tons of uses for this. So I think having one funnel laying around is worth having if you need to transfer stuff from jars to bottles or things like that. So consider a funnel. These guys are my silicone egg rings. I actually have 6 of them, and it's great when I make eggs on my indoor griddle because it contains the egg into a perfect shape. And it's also awesome if you make like egg McMuffin type sandwiches because it's gonna be the size of an English muffin. So I definitely like doing fried eggs in my egg rings. A peeler, you gotta have a peeler. I think that's kind of a well-known thing, but everyone needs a good sharp peeler. Meat thermometer. You gotta have one. I think a lot of people think they don't need a meat thermometer or they have an old broken one, but if you truly want meat to be cooked well, you gotta have a thermometer because that's gonna tell you both that it's cooked enough, but also that it's not overcooked. And overcooked meat makes me sad. So, meat thermometer for sure. Think I almost got it. Measuring cups and spoons. I'd like to think everybody has these, but having been a dietitian for almost 8 years, I know that not everybody does. If you're gonna use recipes to cook, you gotta have measuring cups and spoons to know that you're getting the right amounts. I especially like these spoons because they're long and narrow, so they fit inside of a lot of jars that a circular spoon might not. This type of measuring cup is meant for solids, things like rice or flour. If you're going to be measuring liquids, you wanna have the liquid measuring cups. So these are a 2-cup and a 4-cup. I also like, again, that these are Pyrex material. So if I needed to melt something, I could do that. Or if I wanted to pour hot liquids straight into these, I can do that. I have melted a plastic measuring cup by pouring hot soup into it. So lesson learned, use a glass or Pyrex measuring cup. Let's see, last but not least, this is a random add-on. You should have a Whirly Pop. If you like popcorn, please don't eat microwave popcorn. There's so many chemicals in those bags. Just make fresh popcorn. These things are like 25 or 30 bucks. He makes amazing popcorn every time. Totally worth having. I've had mine for like 9 years. And last but not least, I think everyone knows that you should have salt and pepper, but what you might not know is that you should have them right by the stove so that you're adding them as you cook. The salt grinder is going to be a lot fresher tasting than just the pre-ground pepper grinder. And then this is a salt pig. So a salt pig just refers to a salt dish that sits right next to your stove so that you add salt as you cook. Guys, salt makes food taste good. Make your home-cooked food taste awesome. Have salt next to your stove. I think that does it. Have a good one.